driving down to the slave quarters at Horton Grove, you may notice that we're going to start going downhill. The plantation home was actually built on the top of a hill, and that was not an accident. That was on purpose. That way, because there weren't trees around here either, that way the planter family could consistently look down upon their fields and their enslaved people, and the slaves were always looking up at the big white house, and that really helped reinforce the master-slave relationship. The Cameron family was very prominent in the local area. Cameron Village was named for them. And are y'all going to the state fair anytime soon? Okay, the state fair was actually founded in part by the Cameron family. So they were a very large source in this area. At UNC, you have Cameron Avenue. That was named for them as well. Headquarters at Horton Grove. Horton Grove was purchased by Richard Benahan in 1823, specifically for the purpose of building slave cabins. The cabins that were here originally looked very different from what we're going to see today. At the time, most slave cabins had dirt floors, thatched roofs, and no windows. Because of this, when it rained heavily, the rain would come down onto the people. They'd be cold and wet. It would mix on the floor, turn into mud, form puddles, and that really helped spread illness. You also had multiple families basically in one giant house. That really helped spread the illness as well. You know, if one person in that situation gets sick, everyone's going to get sick. So the houses that we're going to see today were built in 1850 by Paul Cameron, Richard Benahan's grandson, who oversaw the plantation at its peak right around the time of the Civil War as well. And once we get there, I'll show you what changes he made to improve the living conditions. That way you have about 120 people just right here at Horton Grove. So Stagville, like many plantations, worked as a small community. They got everything that they could from the plantation and from the enslaved people who worked here, as opposed to hiring someone from the outside. Peggy was their weaver, Ben was the cobbler making their shoes. They had someone to do almost everything. And one of those jobs was making bricks right here on the plantation. They would pull the clay soil out of the ground, put it in molds to dry out in the sun, and then put it into a kiln to finish it off. Now, because of the demand for bricks, sometimes they pulled it out of the molds before they were completely done. And they've left behind fingerprints that we can still see today. You have a thumbprint there, and you have 4 fingerprints. You can tell where somebody tried to lift it up right there. All right, if you want to follow me, here there is a little step down.
We got to stay with the group.
Alright, and this is how a typical family would live at the time. Mom and Dad would sleep on the bed over there, and children would sleep on the floor, on pallets, head to foot, so if you roll over in the night, you had your brother's feet in your face, which we all love. The work week here was every day except Sunday from sunup to sundown, doing whatever job it was that they did on the plantation. Children started working at the age of 8 years old, doing whatever it was that their parents did. So how old are you guys?
7.
So you would have started working just next year from sunup to sundown, 6 days a week.
Wow, can you imagine that?
Just to give you an idea. Well, Sunday was their day off, but it wasn't really a day off. They spent it, for the most part, getting more food for their families. The weekly rations for families usually consisted of some cornmeal or flour, some molasses, and sometimes some salted pork. So no matter how much you have of that, it's not going to be a lot of food. It's not going to be a very good diet. Because of that, the enslaved people kept prolific gardens in the back, and they would spend their Sundays hunting, fishing, trying to get more food, more sustenance for their family. Another way that they tried to do this was by communal cooking. They didn't cook in this fireplace behind me. In fact, they cooked right out there, which we're going to see next.
And this is a tradition carried over from West Africa. That way, if I have more of some meat, you have more of some vegetable, we put them together, everybody gets a more filling and nutritious meal. And if you follow me, I'll go ahead and show you where they did this.
Thanks, man.
Take care. Sorry to see you out here in the dark.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
No problem.
This is awesome.
You don't have to be in front of the TV.
Wouldn't be too bad right now, though.
I don't know, it may be too hot.
Alright, and this is where they would do their communal cooking at night. Now, nighttime wasn't just a time to cook, it was time that they spent with their families. They would play games, sing songs, tell stories, and dance. Enslaved music became incredibly important, not only to the enslaved people, but to American culture in general. A lot of the music that we have today has been brought down from both slave songs and other African American traditions, and you can hear some of it playing in the distance now. Alright, and for the next part of the tour, we're actually going to be walking to the Great Barn. The enslaved people who lived here would have had to walk this distance and far more every single day. So just make sure to watch your step. We're going to go to the end of the driveway and turn left. It's a fairly short walk, but it is on a gravel road.